On a rain-soaked back road, the night's stillness shattered as Layla's aging van struck a deep pothole. The relentless downpour blurred the world outside, while a sealed container tumbled across the cramped floor of the vehicle. Layla was a college student struggling to cover tuition and living expenses. She got an offer and accepted a part-time job as a courier for a medical research company. The company promised generous pay but demanded unwavering obedience. Never open the containers, never ask questions, and never stray from the route. The company claimed that the cargo was raw flesh samples for bacterial analysis, and any breach of protocol would ruin years of research. That fateful night, while navigating a winding back road under a deluge of rain, Layla's van struck a deep pothole. The jolt was violent enough to dislodge one of the securely fastened containers, sending it across the van's floor. The ensuing sound of cracking plastic reverberated through the rain-soaked night, shattering the expected silence. Despite the rules engraved in her mind, Layla felt an irresistible compulsion to inspect the damaged package. She pried open the container just enough to glimpse its contents. Inside lying a pale human hand, its fingers curled in a final, silent plea. Scars adorned its skin, and a tattoo with unfamiliar yet disturbingly evocative symbol. Layla reported the incident to the company through a curt and impersonal call, detailing only that the container had been compromised and needed immediate return. The response was devoid of overt concern, merely instructing her to proceed with her route and complete the delivery. Layla resealed the container and resumed her delivery, while her mind burdened by the inexplicable horror of what she had seen. The following morning, the rain had subsided, leaving behind glistening roads and a cityscape bathed in eerie early light. As Layla drove through awakening streets, fragments of the previous night's terror coalesced into a grim revelation. The late hours of delivery, the strict secrecy, and the sterile chill of the containers suggested a reality more sinister than she had imagined. But the truth was too dark to ignore, and therefore Layla's growing conviction became unmistakable. The samples she transported were not from animals or ethically sourced donors. They were human. Over the ensuing days, Layla's life became a relentless series of mounting, creeping dread. But the routine of her deliveries continued, and therefore the everyday paths she once knew transformed into corridors of unyielding surveillance. A black sedan, with windows as dark as the night itself, began appearing with unnerving regularity near her apartment and along her delivery routes. Its presence was constant and unsettling, a silent reminder that unseen eyes followed her every move. Unidentified phone calls filled her device with an unsettling stillness that spoke louder than words. Each occurrence confirmed her worst fears. She was being watched, and the organization's influence stretched far beyond the facade it presented to the public. Despite the terror that gripped her, Layla found herself trapped by the lucrative nature of the work. But the price for financial security had grown too steep. Therefore, she had no choice but to continue. An unexpected call from an unfamiliar number confirmed another delivery assignment, the offered payment nearly doubling the usual sum. The tone of the voice, measured and cold, carried an unspoken threat that left little room for defiance. The stakes were explicit. Any deviation or attempt to abandon the job would invite a ruthless response from forces she barely comprehended. In that moment, the money that once promised freedom became the chain that bound her to a clandestine world of moral compromise and unspeakable horror. Night after night, Layla delivered her cargo to remote locations, vacant clinics, decaying warehouses, and industrial sites, all of which felt like long out of use. In each silent exchange, masked men conducted their business with chilling precision, their anonymity reinforcing the inescapable nature of the trade. The routine that had once been a mere means to an end was now a descent into darkness, each delivery chipping away at the remnants of her former life. The realization of her unwitting complicity in a vast, sinister machine gnawed relentlessly at her conscience. Therefore, she was caught in an inescapable web of dread and uncertainty. The tension reached a crescendo on a stormy evening when Layla found herself parked at a dilapidated pier on the outskirts of the city. The isolation of the pier did not offer solace. It became the setting for her most critical moment, where Layla confronted the ultimate dilemma. She faced a choice that cut to the core of her existence. The possibility of sending the data to the authorities shone as a beacon of justice, yet the cost was incalculable. The organization's reach may be profound, and any move to expose it would inevitably mark her for ruthless retribution. The stakes had escalated from mere financial hardship to a battle for her very survival. The choice crystallized in her mind: press the send button and risk unleashing a cascade of violence, or bury the evidence and safeguard her life. With resignation and terror intertwined, she chose silence. Departing the pier, Layla felt the weight of her decision with every cautious step. The specter of the black sedan and the silent vigilance of her paranoia haunted her. As dawn threatened to break over the horizon, Layla merged into the city's restless maze, her future as uncertain as the shifting patterns of light and darkness. The world around her continued in deceptive calm, but beneath that veneer lay a vast network that commodified human life with ruthless efficiency. Her once simple job had mutated into a burdensome entanglement with a sinister machine, leaving her trapped in moral ambiguity with no clear escape. Layla's future stretched out like the endless night, uncertain, dangerous, and irrevocably altered by the terrible secret she now held.